Are those real glasses or are they fake? Oh, don't call them.
Yeah, no, they're great.
In my defense, I can't really see out of my left eye. So, you know,
Okay.
I'm like half blind.
Do the glasses
that'll
help?
do, but the glasses do not help.
Okay.
I just thought they looked good.
Yeah, you look good. You look good.
Do they look good? They look good? Okay.
Hey, you
good.
look great,
I'm
Jack.
glad.
You're
Thank
doing
you.
great, buddy.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah. I like the cats. I like that. I got the owl with the hat. I thought it was very appropriate.
Yeah.
That's
You're in the
pretty
right
good,
place, honestly, if you're going to have an owl with a hat.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
There we go. We're in the right place. Maybe we're at the right time too. New York Excelsior and the LA Valiant. They need a win. There needs to be a win.
Someone's going to win.
Someone's going to win today, which is great. Both teams 0-3 currently. Not the strongest start from either team. But New York, they looked okay in the last couple of games. I mean, Fitz had some decent performances on the Sombra. We even saw Seeker kind of pop off yesterday too. Someone's going to come out of victor here. The desk thinks the New York Excelsior are going to come out on top. I would love to see like the community predictions too, see how many people want to vote LA Valiant. I know they've got one super fan in Tay Zonde, so hopefully his energy will...
if anyone's got me, Tay Zonde's got me.
Exactly. Hopefully his energy can be channeled into this match for sure.
Yeah, and you know, the Los Angeles Valiant, as the desk just spoke about, coming off of a pretty brutal loss yesterday. They didn't really have many bright spots other than Seeker on that Sojourn, so we talk about him all the time, but honestly, it's the other players on the Los Angeles Valiant I want to see step up. If they are going to get some wins in this season, we need to see better looks from everyone else, while the New York Excelsior, on the other hand, this is a team that we had low expectations coming in, but they've slowly started to impress us, especially in their match yesterday against the Toronto Defiant.
I'm telling you, listen up.
Oh, here comes the Torb spiel.
I'm telling you, Torb is a good pick. Listen up.
Okay,
Turret,
I'm listening.
The sixth man. The summon. Summons it on the point or near the point, and it shoots when they try to go for a dive. Nox is going to have a tough time like dealing with the turret. It's like an extra thing, an extra line of defense to kind of get through. I'm a big fan of Torb. Okay, big Torb fan. It hasn't done anything so far because you have to hide it so it doesn't get shot, but we are seeing differences. Most still charged on the team, what do you mean?
New York Excelsior are playing this brawl with the Ramattra, while Valiant maybe expecting to go against the Winston here. Croy on the Junker Queen. This should give an advantage to the Excelsior.
Yeah, turret looking into a wall right now. That turret do be looking at a wall. Yeah, I mean, it's peeking through the wall, but that's really about it. But look, when they go for the dive, the turret's on defense.
Okay,
protects the back line.
I don't think it's shot a bullet yet, Jack. And he's dead.
He may have died, but the turret is still alive. It's still on the flank. It's still 5v5. The point might end up flipping over to Valiant, however. Great nade onto Seeker. Yeah, Lep finishes off with a couple of Cheerios, but the Valiant still end up capping. Good chance for a recontest here from Excelsior. A lot less damage available for the Valiant with Tracer going down. That nade only just landing on Lep to keep himself up. And Fitz kills Slayer. A very early rush from the LA Valiant as they kind of march on through, but look at that. Fitz on the flank, hits the visor, and aimbot's clearing him up.
And he's just free firing right now. He got such a quick visor and just able to clean up this Valiant because they don't have any defensive tools. They didn't have the sound barrier. And Junker Queen, as much as she's a tank, she doesn't really help you much except for yelling at you and giving you motivational support. So that is going to be the New York Excelsior flipping back over for them. And once again, you can see this turret, and as much as we meme the value of this, it will sit here and cause pressure, and something that the Valiant are going to have to consistently deal with. They do get rid of it right now and take the high ground, but New York Excelsior still in control of the point.
All I'm saying, bring back level 3 turret. Please.
No, absolutely not. Terrible ideas right now.
Crazy. Get me on the balance team. Nos goes 8 HP, goes pretty low, gets healed up. Very hard to take this point, to be fair. It's going to be a lot of jostling. Did try and go for a pulse, but didn't end up landing it. Plus, the Torb can just hit the E and run around pretty fast and then heal the turret pretty quick. I love it on the defense, honestly. It's stopping Nos really doing anything. There's Kellen. Oh, he's running. He do be running forward. And he actually forces the beat from Lion, which is great. An Annihilation and a Nano Boost, plus with the Nemesis form punching, it's hard to really stand up to that. So it's LA Valiant actually just backing up real quick. Kellen's found himself in a bit of a weird spot, but Lep is healing him from the side. Still has a beat to use if he so chooses. Crow's going to open this one up with an ult, but that Rampage goes instantly beat from New York Excelsior's side. Psycho trying to stand up to the Queen, but she takes the crown straight back. Excelsior will end up cleaning this one up. Krawi and Noth dying. And this will be final fight. Look, they got Molten Core. And they got Visor.
And they've cleaned them up 80% and counting. The Valiant did a great job of kiting away that Annihilation and the Nano, but they just don't have the damage to get through the raw health of the Excelsior, especially with the great sound barrier from Lep. Now, final fight territory. CJ does have the rush, and then Seeker with the overclock. We know how deadly he can be with this one.
All right. Got to see big things from Seeker. He's already ripped the overclock. Wow, he hasn't even got onto the point just yet, so he's shooting tanks currently. It's going to be able to spot at the back line and the turret, take down the turret. Oh, he is getting kind of rolled by Fitz on the high ground, who's activated that visor. Molten Core on the point for Psycho. He does cover half of it, but, well, Valiant just kind of walk away from the Molten Core, so they didn't actually get damaged all too much. A flip comes through for the Valiant, as it was overtime for Excelsior, but Lep is still managing to contest somehow.
Yeah, they're putting on a little bit of pressure, but the point is firmly in control of the Los Angeles Valiant, but they're just trying to get into position. Fitz is trying to get up another ultimate, but with this switch over to the Ramatra from Croy, they can match them, and we have seen a switch from Psycho. The Torb, I'm sorry, Jack, is gone.
It is gone, but it's okay. Oh, the pulse bomb. That looked like it landed. Almost killed Doss. He recalled, lost half his HP to his own pulse bomb. Looks like Kellen's trying to step up to the point, but no Nemesis form. Doesn't really want to stay around for too long. Hasn't got that extra armor to kind of sustain through all the damage. Valiant are in a decent spot. They got to wait for Liar's beat, maybe play a little bit more passively before they try any big play. And in fact, I guess they don't really need to, Scott, to be honest.
The Valiant are in the driving seat right now. The percentage is ticking up, and they have their ultimates coming online.
Nano boost available from Creative. Look, and now Kellen's stepping up. They know they got the Nano to back him up if he needs it. Hits the Nemesis form and has an Annihilation after this too. Here it comes. Kellen straight to the back line, hits the Annihilation with the Nano boost. However, a beat is going to make sure Lyra and CJ stay alive. Kellen is just playing bodyguard right now. Actual Thorman asking for IDs before the Valiant can get onto the point. Crowie's also popped the Annihilation, but it's a little bit of a standoff. Yeah, they're just folding his arms menacingly at each other. One day someone will die. There it is. The beats from Lep. All that overhealth and a giant nade from Creative should seal this deal right up with a nice little bow. It is 99% to 95 with Excelsior in control. However, Seeker does manage to kill one, in fact two. The overclock's doing wonders for the LA Valiant once again. He's trying to find one more kill, but Fitz has got the visor online, so Seeker has to duck behind cover. Crowie comes back with a Doomfist and manages to punch the rest of Excelsior off of the point. But it is now just Lep, just trying to stall, waiting for Gallen to come back on a Doom of his own.
Yeah, both Doomfists are getting back to the point, but the Valiant are the ones in control.
They do control, but Crowie ends up going down. Now no front line, no engage tool for the Valiant. Can Seeker come up clutch yet again? He's got no overclock to do so, and Nos goes down to a random Helix rocket from Fitz. The only ult they had in their bank now evaporating from their front line. Psycho's got a pulse of his own, lobs it. Whoa, tried to Kobe that one, didn't land his mark, but it forced Seeker to actually use that power slide.
Another one!
What a kill! A railgun and a melee to take Psycho out as this point is still being stalled.
Croy comes back. He needs to be careful about over-aggressing like he did last time.
Kitsune rush and Seeker comes up. Another railgun kill. This guy's unstoppable, but finally taken down by Kellen. It is still OT. Yes, we're at 99%. It's not going to be over just yet, though. We do have another beat coming out from Lyre as this overtime is lasting for eons. We could potentially create another universe in this moment, to be honest with you, Scott. Fitz has another visor. He has to stay alive. Second visor of OT. Okay, CJ, Nos, Crowie dead. Finally, Excelsior managed to take that round.
Oh my lord, this could be a match we have going. They're just trading blows back and forth. You can see players making plays over and over again. Seeker being that sole player, just getting pick time after time, keeping them in the fight, but it's just not enough to stand up to the consistent damage of Fitz on that soldier as New York Excelsior take the first round, Jack, and it looks like as we head over to University, we will see another Ramatra mirror.
Now imagine Ramatra before the nerf where Annihilation didn't last for an indefinite amount of time.
It would have been hard to know it was nerfed from that round. They were still just looking at each other.
I mean, it's capped at 20 seconds now at least, but you're still just standing in front of the other Ram like, okay, someone do damage to him, please. We might see another standoff here, but with Maze, there's a lot more kill potential there. You wall off a support, you wall off the tank, it's quite easy. Lep just yoinked into that vortex. It's still one of the funniest abilities I think they've released, especially how it interacts with things like Lucio, Fare. It just literally yoinks you back down to earth. Kind of a pain for a main support.
Honestly, it is a very strong ability, and the best Ramatras get more value from it. It is going to be the Hanzo versus the Sojourn. The walls go down, and Callan has punched Nos down.
Yeah. Knocked his lights clean out. That is for sure. A bit more of a clean cap, that one.
Yeah.
No more 99 to 99. 27 overtime.
And that all goes back to the fact that the New York Excelsior got control of the high ground. That's why you see everybody fight for it, because when you have control of that, you can dictate the flow of the next fight. So great play by New York Excelsior getting the first capture.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Psycho's fairly far ahead in terms of ult charge right now on that May. 70% versus Nos's 35, so that Blizzard, I'm not sure if Valiant are really expecting it as a window to open the point up for the Valiant, and Seeker finds a kill through it. Nice little railgun shot. That's a lot of extra damage, so just a body shot will do on most targets. And now Fitz just hunting for headshots. Does find one, but that's about it. Another point that's very easily stalled out, especially as you have a May, but Crowley eventually kills Psycho. But here come the reinforcements. But someone has to deal with Seeker on the high ground. Just free raining railgun shots onto the rest of Excelsior.
And if you're the New York Excelsior heading into this...
Kellen.
That's a question mark.
Question mark from
Yep.
Interesting use of the Annihilation.
I think that's a deserved question mark right there.
That's right.
That was a very unwinnable fight for the New York Excelsior. And I want to speak to this. The Los Angeles Valiant, Seeker really is the tip of the spear. He is that guy who is going to get your picks. The New York Excelsior cannot allow him to take high grounds like that and just free shoot. He will kill your entire team.
Bliss ends now. This fight has certainly ended already. Seeker box the overclock. At New York at this point, you don't really want to mess with Seeker when he's got that. Still holding that 100 charge. Oh, just started to fade away before Fitz popped his little head around the corner. All right, another engagement here. Both Blizzards. Uh-oh, well,
down goes Corey.
We created 2 snow cones on the points, and there goes Kellen. Goodbye, sir. Frozen up, head shot hitbox. Rather large, rather easy to hit if you're someone like Seeker.
Yeah, and the New York Excelsior sort of forcing their way in here, but the Valiant able to sort of disengage into the hole while Kellen just sort of got frozen up on the point and goes down. And that Annihilation used by Kellen has actually changed the entire flow of this round, because Croy's just holding on to his, knowing he has the advantage. Kellen can't step up and mirror that Annihilation, and that's just a massive disadvantage they're holding into, as the Valiant only need to win one more team fight.
They got Annihilation and the sound barrier to do it with. Creative puts the window near the point. That wall is going to be decimated rather soon.
Flanking.
Yeah, nice little flank. There's the Annihilation. The sound barrier comes out from left. 5-man beats. Oh, Crowley's in trouble. Luckily gets saved by Liar, though. On top of the high ground there, was able to get the beat off. And now he has to deal with those Dragons. That Annihilation doing a lot of work, but the Dragons separating him from the rest of the team. And Fisk finds 2 kills in this fight. Maybe a few more as well, as Nos does pop him in the head. However, that block has run out. So is the wall. And so is the lives of the rest of the Valiant. CJ does take 2 with him, and Seeker takes another. How does Seeker and CJ always find these final kills at their very end?
Those are important final kills. Yeah, you have Liar and Croy back. You can see them already applying pressure to Psycho. They're stuck in this room.
99%. I mean, Valiant are going to find the flip unless Kellen can touch. He cannot. Overtime is here. Annihilation 2, but now they have to run into a window. Kellen has to pop this ultimate, but he's actually doing it into a shield right now. I don't think Crab is getting hit. He wasn't hit at all. So that 3 seconds of Annihilation just runs out. Just instantly disappears. Lep goes for the retouch, and now it's Kellen with no ult. Only a Nemesis form left. Has to stand up to Seeker with an overclock. But you can see he's just railing him from the other side of the map. He's holding his arms up, Scott, but as soon as that goes down, someone from the New York Excelsior has to touch, and they cannot do so.
Nos is doing a great job with these walls. He's really splitting Kellen away from the rest of his team, and it just makes it feel like Kellen's under constant harassment from the Los Angeles Valiant. Honestly, if we end up in this mirror matchup throughout the series, I'm giving Valiant the edge right now.
Bruh, that ram out was crazy.
Bruh.
That was crazy. You see him hold his arms against the shield and it run out in like 3-4 seconds? Play of the game. Oh my God.
Kellen recognizing he needs to sort of laugh at himself here, because even him recognizing it might not be the best. As we start this last round on the Gardens, Kellen's actually going to switch things up, moving over to the Reinhardt. And this is a matchup we've spoken so much about, of what is better, the Reinhardt versus the Ramatra. Historically, I feel like Ramatra has come out on top, but it's not exactly one-sided in any way.
Well, Excelsior at least managed to take the high ground. You saw Crowley kind of dip out of there real fast as he felt that wall behind him. You don't really want to get caught. Gassy though for Fitz, Scott.
Yeah, and Genji for Nos. This is 2 very different looks. Genji has had mixed success so far this year. He's very good at executing players, especially the Baptiste, but it's very hard to find value with your ultimate, and if you can't find that value, then is the character really that good?
Well, doesn't need to be good if the rest of your team are kind of clearing. Plus, you're kind of tracking down Fitz and Creative, making them force cooldowns, and he did manage to push Fitz off of the high ground, so while not doing a whole lot of damage straight up to a Cassidy, it's pretty decent to get him away from a high ground position.
Yeah, CJ and Kroy just fighting for this one. They have too much healing and health to be able to capture this one, but York Excelsior did get the flip, so they're in control. They're happy to keep fighting.
Oh, nice turnaround there. Krabi gets that nano boost, instantly pops the Nemesis form. Vortex goes down for the slow, and another nice anti-nade from CJ. He's hit a couple of those back-to-back.
Yeah, and that's one of the big issues of Reinhardt versus Ramatra. You saw right there. The shield doesn't stop you from being punched in the face with the Ramatra. So that's a problem, right? If you're the Reinhardt, you have no way of blocking that front-loaded damage. And the Los Angeles Valiant do get the flip, but they're also getting their ultimates online. Kroy has that annihilation, but New York Excelsior and Lep can respond with the sound barrier.
Yeah, Ryan might have a giant hammer, but Krawi has two giant fists. He is just punching the backline to death.
Good sleep.
That annihilation's pretty decent, though. It does force them up into the high ground, but that Blizzard, in more of a defensive one from Psycho, just gets waylaid. Like, they just drop from high ground. It's like, that's okay. We don't mind. Like, we don't have to fight up there. You have to fight us. We control the point still.
That was a questionable Blizzard for sure, because they could just step off of the high ground and then you can see they become unfrozen. So maybe liking that one back. And that was a lot of ultimates used for the Excelsior right there. They've used 4 ultimates in this fight. Kellen with the Shatter is the only one who can do anything. And with how spread out the Valiant are, it's going to be difficult to find value. And then Nos with the infamous Genji Blade.
Here we go.
The Nano coming up soon.
Nano coming up soon. Just
never mind.
Oh my damage. A hack, a fire strike, and you're dead. Oh, Lep does not want to challenge Seeker on the high ground.
What?
Dragon strike into the floor, still work, in force slam. It's all good. And there's Fitz on the sideline, still trying to do as much as he can, getting hacks on key targets, and did get the kill onto Seeker, but Krawi is holding down this front line with ease at the moment.
Kroy's having a great match on this. Ramatra just understands the setup so well. Psycho switching over to the Tracer, Kellen onto the Doomfist. They're in desperation mode. They're switching over to the dive.
Yeah, they just want to get onto the back line. I mean, this Ryan didn't do too much. I mean, also you Shadow, you're not going to be able to get many. Oh, hang on. Fitz found the Seeker's Translocator, and Seeker is dead.
Well
Perfect
played.
execution from Excelsior. Here comes the blade, though. There's the Suzu and the boot and the TP. Genji blade moment right there. Everybody just runs away. 99% for the Valiant, though, and overtime's going to tick down pretty quickly. EMP from Fitz hits 1, and here comes the Annihilation. So everybody taking this AoE damage. Krawi trying to find targets, and Lep was hiding right around the corner. Look at those health bars for Excelsior right now. They are so low, but it's only Krawi really to deal with. Excelsior do manage to come out on top after almost the wholesale switch up.
Yeah, Kroy just couldn't find anyone to chase down. He chased after the Lucio, they ran away. Chased after the Doomfist, they ran away. So not able to get any execution with that Annihilation. And that's going to trigger swaps here for the Valiant. I wonder if we're going to see Kroy swap as well. Because New York Excelsior stuck on the Doomfist. Kroy goes over to the Junker Queen. I like this choice. We've seen this have good value against the dive setups because you can just be that front anchor. If they can deflect the aggression from Fitz and Kellen, this could be good for them.
Oh, CJ's already used that Suzu. Prime target now for Psycho to land a pulse bomb. Jumps the backline, hits on the Queen instead. Krawi detonated. And that will be a reset for the Valiant. They've still got a couple more fights in them, Scott. All good.
They need to go quickly if they want a couple more, Jack. And I think the fears for the Valiant right now is they just have nothing to show for all of these switches, while New York Excelsior holding on to that Kitsune rush. They can just choose to go whenever, and they're going to have such a massive advantage. That movement speed, that attack speed, everything that the Kitsune rush does is just so hard to fight into.
Oh, creative. Just TPs to the front line on top of Kellen, lays the rush down onto the point. Pretty nice stuff, but can they come up with these kills?
No value.
The Kitsune's rush is going to eventually fade away. They at least kill Nox with a cheeky little headshot from across the map. And now it's a 4v5. Overtime for the Excelsior, as Kellen has to be the one to touch. Krawi, sorry, has to be the one to touch. He's already used that shout, so has to run away. Fitz ends up going down to CJ as an EMP rings out from Seeker as well as the beat. I mean, Valiant have way too many ults for Excelsior to deal with. There's no return beat there. Nox even lands the pulse bomb onto Kellen. Valiant just overran them with ults. It was more Qs equals more win.
Even though they lost Nuss, they were willing to wait out the fight, slow things down, just juggle the point until those ultimates came online, and then they just went. And the New York Excelsior, nothing to do from there, as the Los Angeles Valiant taking map 1.
Feeling pretty good. Both teams coming into this week 0-3. And Excelsior have had some really nice games, really nice showings. Same with, you could say the same with Valiant too. Seeker has shown up, but it's been less successful than what we've seen New York Excelsior been over the last week or so. I mean, look at some highlights here. City Center could be a highlight of its own. Fitz got, what, 2 to 3 visors at the very end? That was so silly.
He's just running around in his healing field. They're unable to kill him, gets the mini at the end, and then just pops the visor. It's infuriating to play against.
There is nothing more infuriating than watching a soldier just spin around you as you're trying to hit him.
Just pop the DPI up and start spinning. But coming into this match, Jack, I said I wanted to see more from the other players of the Los Angeles Valiant. We know they're great players, but they haven't been showing up. But CJ on that Baptiste, as you just saw, CJ on that Ana as well, hitting good biotic grenades.
Oh, yeah.
But especially Croy on the Ramatra. He feels so comfortable. And it doesn't feel like the New York Excelsior, especially the backline, have an answer to his aggression right now.
Well, we got Hollywood coming up. Valiant already taking an early lead. Feels pretty good if you're a Valiant fan at home. New York Excelsior, though. Let's go. Look, they went 2-1 in control, so it's going to be a close affair, I think, this entire series. We're going to jump to a break. You're not going to want to miss this one after this.
Get down in the car, one time give it all. Bust it open hard, let me see you drop. Get down in the car, one time give it all. Bust it open hard, let me see you drop. Hustle, baby, we hustle, what the oh my.
All right, Valiant taking their first map win of the season. Pretty elated with themselves, as you can see in the player cams. They are happy, don't worry. Don't worry, they're just focused. They're ready to get into the next round. New York Excelsior, they went down to a pretty tough last round there. I mean, look, there were a lot of funny moments, I think, from that game. Two Romanchers looking at each other for approximately 50 minutes on a single point. And Control is definitely a game mode where if you don't roll out with a better comp, it can just snowball in the opposite way and you end up getting kind of crushed. And on Gardens, that was kind of the case with Valiant.
Yeah, some people say that Fitz is still running to this day, but he is going on to Hollywood right here. And I think we can agree that I don't think the Reinhardt into the Ramatra, it feels like an outdated strategy. It doesn't feel to get value, and we've seen a lot of people try that on Gardens of this Oasis to little avail, but now we have to go to Hollywood. This is a map that heavily leans into playing that Winston dive style because of all the high grounds, but I wouldn't say that's the Los Angeles Valiant strength, and I'd like to see them stray away from that.
All right, well, let's see what they got on the defense then. We can imagine Seeker's probably playing some sort of hit scan over the Ash right now. Little Crowley Winston. All right, so I like this. On defense especially, you have one DPS and the tank, they can kind of engage, like pseudo-engage, take high ground, then you have Seeker kind of chilling with the homies in the backline with the Brig and the Ana.
I was actually having a heated discussion. Well, I wasn't heated. Jake was heated. Discussion
Right,
in the green room before these matches started of he doesn't like the Diva on defensive setups when you're going to play dive. I like them a little bit more. I think there's value there, especially if your player is a lot more comfortable on that hero. So Croy is going to lean to the Winston, something that he's not known as much for. So I'm excited to see if he's going to be able to give us something that we'll be pleasantly surprised by, or if he'll switch later on if he's not finding that value.
All right, mirror comps for both New York and Valiant. All right, taking the high ground's imperative here for New York, but Crowley and Nos are going to do their darndest to try and stop that from happening. Taking this cross is also pretty key. Nice anti-nade. Damn, CJ's nades today have been pretty fire. Speaking of fire shots, Fitz almost managed to take down the Tracer. But no, with this high ground now, he can pressure Seeker out, free dynamite damage. There's so many small corners that your Ana, your Brig, all your supports want to hide in. Well, they're not hiding in any corners right now. They're actually back onto second point almost.
Yeah, and you can see the Valiant have just lost all the positioning. Great dive by the Excelsior, but now they're forced into a corner. They look like they're trying to re-aggress this one, but Lep's just holding the door.
Yeah, really nice move there onto Crowley, stopping him from going onto the point, and then a nade to follow that up. What an attack from Excelsior. That was perfectly executed.
And this goes back to what I was saying before. With how Croy is playing that Winston, he's counter-diving as Winston. Wouldn't you just be better off playing the Diva in that setup? He's not playing aggressive, but still opting to stick onto that Winston. Seeker on that Ashe is something that I really like. He is the hit scan specialist for these guys. They look the best when you're playing that Ashe, but right now he hasn't had any space to shoot so far.
Yeah, it's been swiftly taken away from him. All right, time to go high ground again. The battle for high ground. It do be Hollywood second. Lep is in a mighty world of trouble. All good though, he did manage to bash out of that bubble. Nade again from CJ. Good engage, now Fitz dead. Nano boost onto Kellen, however, as they try and at least come up even. They managed to do it, but it's actually a cross-map kill. Lep bashing Nos senseless and takes him out. So it's a DPS for a DPS, an Ashe, sorry, for a Tracer.
Yeah, and Kellen is just a thorn in the side of the Valiant right now. They're going to go aggressive themselves as we saw Croy dodges the sleep from Creative and takes him down with the nano boost.
Nice attempt to disengage. You saw Fitz kind of coach gun Crowley away, but the lightning a little bit too much to handle. And now the high ground is there. So now the Seeker's in a position, right, where he wants to just sit on high ground, shoot, and then his Brig and stop these dives coming in with a whip shot.
And I think Florida Mayhem are the team that has accentuated this advantage better than any other team so far. When you have this high ground, you get to dictate the flow of the game. You can go aggressive whenever you want. See if the Valiant can emulate that type of play.
Decent amount of payload push already. for New York, mind you. Nos is currently guarding it. Post bomb on the floor. Yeah, pancakes that one. Doesn't get anybody. And a 3-man elevator onto high ground.
Stuck.
Big stick onto Laya. Pop that rally, instantly taken out. No overhealth, no stunts from the shield. And no more LA Valiant. I mean, that is Crowley also taking a rather long nap on Winston.
Potentially the worst feeling ever when you pop that rally and then instantly get stuck by a Tracer player. Great heads-up play by Psycho, a player who's starting to impress a lot of people on this Tracer, making his mark in this map so far, and this is going to be difficult for the Valiant to re-engage. They might think better of it.
Well, they do have a Bob. Fizz does not have his, unfortunately. Slept, anti-naded. He does end up getting woken up, so Bob is kind of airing them out right now, or at least trying to. He's currently just shooting a bubble. Psycho willing to take a fisticuffs brawl there with Crowley, just right up in his face. But with Crowley dead, who touches? I mean, good luck touching against this. Nano Brick, and that'll be it. That second point already unlocked. 4 minutes and 15 seconds. This is, it's not the speediest of speed runs, but this is a quick pace.
And this is how we expected the series to go. If New York Excelsior can put Kellen on that Winston, Creative on that Ana, this is really their wheelhouse and what I think one of their best metas will be throughout the season. So really showing that they are better than Valiant, as Valiant just feel a little bit flat-footed, haven't been able to find their opportunities to engage. As you can see them taking this high ground, wanting to get onto the backline. It's going to be difficult, though, with very little ultimates. The nano boost has to go.
Oh, I hate that so much. Just throwing that Ana nade into the shield. Feels so bad. All good, though. Would have been a good engage if that nade did end up hitting and Krabi goes a little bit more crazy in the front line. Counter dive for Krabi, in fact. Kellen's anti. Oh, getting chased. He's 1 HP. Hit the right click. Oh,
there it is.
Main tank came. There we go.
We're going to keep yelling it every time a Winston player hits that shot. Yeah, main tank game.
They still got it. Oh, good. I mean, it's such a pivotal part of the kit, too. It was crazy when that first got added. We saw it in Overwatch. She was like, wow, right click now on Winston. It doesn't do that much damage, but in reality, you charge that up, you're consistently hitting those. It's a lot of chunk.
Especially when you combo it with the dive. You jump, you hit the right click, and you land on them, but Laya's going aggressive with the rally.
Psycho has the pulse bomb, though. Oh, straight on the shield. Nos finds one in return, killing Creative. Excelsior down a support, but they don't look too phased by it right now, especially with Bob on the point. All good.
Yeah, not willing to go aggressive for the Valiant, but now that Bob's gone, they're trying to clean up the backline. They've been struggling to get and sort of punish Lep and Creative for playing aggressive. It feels like they're just holding on because Lep and Creative and Fitz are just playing so far away.
Yeah, you can't make that dive, really. You're expecting.
You can't.
Good boop onto Krawi again. Look, yeah. And then he slept. A boop asleep who woke him. Report, please. All good, though. Primal Rage in the back. And now he knows no supports have any cooldowns left. And he's just juggling Fitz into his own backline, but Fitz manages to coach gun away. All the meanwhile, Kellen's Primal Rage got way more value and killing CJ. Rally going off for Lep. He's now in the front line. They've got a nano boost for this final push, Scott. And with Seeker's Bob, the only thing available for the Valiant... Oh, wait, I take it back. He died. So they've got nothing for this final defense.
And they got to stop the staggering because the card is getting so close. They're going to have to take a fight at a disadvantage. Just try and hold on.
They need to wait for Seeker to get back. Just stall out for as long as you possibly can. Creative's got nano, so he can just leap into the back line. A pulse bomb onto Laya is good. Nice sleep, but he's still pumping out damage. Seeker managed to get back. He called in reinforcements in Bob, but that's just about it, really. I mean, you can't do much more than that. Bob eventually dies. New York Excelsior with 1.5 minutes on the board for their next attack, if they get one.
Yeah. As much as they slowed down the New York Excelsior a little bit towards the end, the Valiant were only able to find 7 final blows throughout that entire half. They're just struggling, even if they are finding picks, to just clean everything up. And that sort of has a cascading effect because you're not getting as many ultimates, you're not finding those team fight wins and getting those big advantages. So the New York Excelsior firmly in control on this Hollywood so far. CJ you could have touched. Lep, calling out CJ, potentially, pumping those stats. Didn't want to add another death to the numbers.
Kellen is being the moderator of this chat. Please stop.
Please no bully.
Please. Just play the game. I want to eat lunch. Please just play.
I feel like that's rich coming from Kellen because Kellen's the one getting bullied the most. So I feel like he's not allowed to be the one coming in.
No pause, though.
Maybe Kellen's going to ask the refs to turn off chat.
Could you please just mute chat? Please. These guys, they're kind of annoying. All good though. We're just jumping into a brief pause. Looks like York Excelsior. Want to go for a quick pause? I want to mention, by the way, we oh, okay. Okay. So we just got word from production that Fitz accidentally spilled some water on his keyboard, which probably means it doesn't work. Although I say that
sometimes.
I had an old keyboard, don't anymore, for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
but I managed to spill 2 coffees on it, and it still worked.
That's impressive, honestly.
The keys were sticky at one point because it was like a milky coffee too, so
Yeah.
like, yeah, gross. Gross stuff.
I would make fun of you, but when I stream, I actually have a sippy cup because I've knocked too many things onto my keyboard.
Little bro has a sippy cup while he's streaming. Honestly, mad respect.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
mean,
Sometimes you need to accept that you're stupid and you will do it again.
That's why I got a 60%, like no F keys and no numpad, so like smaller space for me to miss my drink. All good. Oh, there was the initial pulse that kind of started this whole thing off. Nice stuff.
Good thing Laya didn't swing into CJ though. We've seen that a lot. Well, I think it was Lep yesterday who bashed into his Ana when he got stuck. So, you know, at least
rest in peace.
At least Laya really accepting his fate and not taking others down with him, as we're gonna see a different look from the Valiant on offense.
Yeah, Nos going on the Reaper, so really just want to land a hack from Seeker, Nos, Crowy, jump in, and boom, 1 kill.
We're actually going to see them route all the way around to the right side. They're going to take this sort of cafe away from them where a lot of the defensive side usually likes to sit. You can see Creative and Left rotating to the opposite high ground. The Valiant are going to have, oh, big nade.
Big Suzu though, instantly cleansed away. Suzu moment. Now you can time that as the Ana, your nade will come off cooldown like a second or 2 before the Suzu does, so you can time it. But it's quite unlikely that you're going to be able to land a nade like directly after the cooldown comes up. Nice hack onto Fitz. Look at the peel though. The amount of healing coming out on him is ridiculous right now. And no one is looking at Psycho right now. Just lands a little easy 3K. Make that a 4K.
Valiant just feel like they're under constant harassment. They're waiting for that opportunity to dive, but they get hit with a biotic grenade, then they get hit by an Ash Dynamite, and it feels like there's just so many things slowing them down, and Fitz is at 90% to above. That's how much damage he's pumping out right now on the Ash.
Yeah, that is crazy. Because this comp wants to play together, the Valiants, right? I mean, you want to be in that ball, just jumping one person. Easy Dynamite, easy nades, like you were saying. All right, Psycho, got a 4K last fight. What you got for assist time? You got a pulse bomb. Dodging Liar just got clotheslined by that bomb. My God. All right, both supports dead for the Valiant, so that will be a reset.
Yeah, Lia's actually going to switch over to the Brig, just unable to do anything right now on the Lucio, as CJ's going to switch over to the Ana as well. They were trying to play that death ball dive, as you were saying, Jack, but just felt like every time they tried to dive, they were just taking too much damage from all the AoE effects. But Valiant, the silver lining is they have the EMP coming up, but you can already see the New York Excelsior and Creative specifically spreading out, not giving them a big opportunity for an EMP.
Oh, he wants it. Yeah, has to drop. You got a Brig next to CJ, so he's not going to go down to the triple hit from the Ana. Nice hack, goes straight up with a lift. He's actually just trolling them. That's so frustrating to play against. All right, here comes the dive. Psycho, pulse bomb in hand. Laser on the floor next to the bubble, so if anybody exits, they'll die. But no damage, though. There will be an EMP for Seeker available, too, so another quick reset here. Crowy jumping into a better position. Seeker now with the EMP. He's got left in his sights, and instant EMP hits Fitz and left. Creative nowhere to be found. Actually nanos Fitz to keep him alive in this fight, so Fitz is going to do some major damage in the front line if he can get an angle on either Seeker or Crowy. He might not need to be fair, and in fact, Crowy pulls the Primal Rage to try and stop Fitz doing any more damage.
Yeah, but the New York Excelsior, they're happy. That's a great look for them. Croy pops the Primal Rage to try and get more. They're just going to disengage and then re-engage because Lep has the rally. That's going to give them so much health on this re-engage.
Oh, spot on to Lep, and he ends up going down. No rally available for New York right now, as this might just be the point going over unless they can come up with something large. Once again, Fitz just finding mad value on this Ash. He has landed a headshot, which means a free bomb, an easy bomb. Even Lai using the rally. He's trying to get to his team. Okay, he's finally made it. When I say team, I just mean Karawi. Nice little nade from Creative, and with 20 seconds to go, Valiant just used every ult.
Laya says rally to me, really not because he wants everyone to be around him, he just needs help. And no one was able to help him. They used everything to try and close that out. And the unfortunate thing is, yeah, you killed Lep before he could use the rally, but now he still has that rally. It's going to be so difficult. And Bob, and Pulse Bomb.
Rally Bob, Pulse Bomb. Well, that was a nice try, Seeker. He did get the touch, though. All good. See, how does Psycho use this Pulse Bomb? Might not even need it. And there's the summon. Bob comes out. It's 6v5. Bob does end up getting stuck, but now it is Laya that's going to suffer the full wrath of the New York Excelsior as CJ is chased into security. There's 2 ticks on the board for the Valiant, but it's only CJ and Seeker left. And there it is. Map number 2, a full hold for Excelsior.
Some C9s in chat from New York Excelsior giving back a taste of their own medicine. You can see the Valiant guys on the screen having some fun with it, but that might be the story of this series, Jack. New York Excelsior having the lead in these Winston compositions, looking dramatically better than the Valiant. So if you're the Valiant, do you have to reevaluate the way that you're approaching this series? Because right now, feels like the New York Excelsior just ran rings around them.
Yeah, it really did. I wonder if they do end up going over to the Diva, like you were mentioning. Might make Jake mad, but that's kind of funny. So maybe you play Diva into the Winston, especially when you can take high ground so quickly. Your thrusters are off cooldown a little bit quicker than a Winston link. See what ends up happening. Of course, we're going to another map just after this.
It also might give Seeker more space, because you could see how much space that Fitz had throughout this entire map. He's just shooting for free, and if you leave Fitz open, he's going to take names. And maybe if you play the DB yourself, that will enable Seeker to feel more comfortable and give them that win condition.
Well, you can eat Dynamite, you can eat nades, like a lot of utility on Diva. You have a lot of front-loaded damage too if you just kind of use thrusters into somebody, use micro missiles, and then also just cleanse, like bathe them in the Matrix to stop them getting healing, etc.
Bathe them in the Matrix.
Bathe them in the Matrix.
I like it.
Should be a line from The Matrix. Maybe I'm able to weave one in there one day. All good. Rialto is going to be our next map. We'll see what happens on the other side of this, because Excelsior, it didn't really look that close. That was kind of a stomp on Hollywood. We'll see if Valiant can make any change-ups to make this a 5-mapper. We'll be right back after this. There's 2 wars going on right now. One on the battlefield and then one in match chat. Honestly, the match chat one has been pretty funny too. A lot of spam. And then Kellen trying to be the moderator. Please stop. Let me play. And then LA Valiant just kind of clowning on him a little bit. It's kind of funny.
Hey, LA Valiant, they need psychological warfare. It's the thing they got going best for them right now.
I love match chat, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's honestly one of the funniest things. I remember a long time ago, didn't they mute match chat or like hide it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfect. Fun fact.
It's because of Jake.
It's because of Jake. Jake was the sole reason that match chat was removed because, surprise, Jake was incredibly toxic because he fought with psychological warfare. He knows how to get in people's heads.
It works. It does.
You saw him do it just against Johnny in the pre-show as well with those...
psychological warfare.
Yeah.
God damn. I love match chat, man. It's so fun. See how many C9s they can type in chat and repeat, in repetition. It's great. It's good stuff all around. Rialto, we are 1-1 in the series. Can change it up. But I think Valiant at this point have realized, yeah, we can't really match this Winston comp. Maybe play something a little bit their own style. Would you look at that? Maybe a little Crowy on the Diva. We'll see. Obviously, they're still in spawn, so we're chilling right now. But I am happy to see one of these picks, and that is Fitz on the Widow.
Ooh, yeah, Fitz Widowmaker. It feels like a while since we've really seen this one. It was such a staple for the Seoul Dynasty for such a long time. As much as Matt Chat's saying that they want to bring out the ball or the ball-wee, I don't expect to see it because this is a strong Diva map. To the point that you're even going to see Kellen go and play this because there's not long dives that need to be made, but it is controlling the high grounds. Diva just gets more value on Rialto.
Yeah, double Diva. Looks like it. I'm so happy we've seen a little bit of Widowmaker, I'm going to be honest.
That's because you're a Widow one-trick on DPS.
2-trick, actually. I play Torb.
Oh, sorry, forgot about the Torb.
Widow Torb.
Should have known.
It's pretty legendary, I will say. See if Fizz can line up any of these shots. Pretty hard targets to take down, though, if you are the Widow. Hanzo hitbox, head hitbox, notoriously hard to shoot as Widow, and like Genji flipping around, and then Crowy just kind of eating all of those shots. But we'll see what Fitz can line up.
And they're going to need to be careful because Los Angeles Valiant don't have a lot of ways to deal with this Widowmaker. They're not holding one of their own. They have a Hanzo, which is a threat, but you'd much prefer the Widow matchup with these long sightlines. And Nos is on the Genji, which can be good against the Genji, but it's so hard to close this distance from where Nos is right now to how far back Fitz is playing.
Slow methodical for the Valiant right now. They just want to take high ground away from Kellen, who can quickly retake it. It's not too much of an issue. It's also hard to kind of capitalize on these nades too, Scott. You've only got one extra dive with you within that Tracer. He's trying to be oh my word. Seeker just saw his brother fall down in front of him there. That was painful. Oh, wow. Almost got him too on the exit.
Getting away with that one. And I think the Valiant are going to need to play faster. They cannot just allow Fitz to keep taking shots like that because he is going to hit one eventually.
Yeah, I mean, look at his HP bar right now. Like, he's very willing to peak at like 100 HP-ish because only one person can get him, and that was the Hanzo. And it looks like they are going with something a little bit more quickly now. So Sombra going in, hacking the Diva, hacking literally anybody, and then a dive target. They want to go fast, and they're going to be able to do it now.
The Sombra is why we haven't seen as much Widowmaker lately because she can literally invisibly show up behind you, hack you, and then shoot you. And as a Widowmaker, you don't have a lot of responses. So this should make it easier for the Valiant and give them more go buttons, potentially, and should just push Fitz off of this angle.
Yeah, look, they're rotating all the way around to the Mega Health Pack. Nice anti-nade from Creative. Hit
Corey
3. Actually, Corey loses mech too. That is disastrous for their dive. And now Fitz on a free angle. Another nice nade from Creative. Hits the backline. And then Sai goes, okay, well, I might as well pad my stats too. Pick up a little couple of kills.
This is really the major difference you see from the bottom end teams, kind of like the Valiant on this dive, to the top end teams. We watched Atlanta Reign yesterday. They're just executing so flawlessly. The DPS players are getting into position. The tanks are then synchronizing dives. And it's not just that their dives are synchronized, they're doing them quickly. That enables them to do it without being countered, getting hit by so many nades, getting hit by shots like the Widowmaker.
He's been revealed and he's getting packed. Yeah, all good. That was almost comedic level timing there for Fitz. Oh! Managed to tag Nos in the leg. Oh, I mean, you're still visible.
I don't think he realized he still was.
Sights up, yeah, exactly. Wow, CJ just getting pushed. I mean, this is right now it's a flattening of epic proportions.
I don't want to put this into the ether again. I don't want to do. We saw it yesterday on Kings Row, where there was a no-kill half, And unfortunately, the Valiant just are in the same position. They haven't been able to get anything going. They do have the ultimates now. Seeker has the EMP. They have Lyre and CJ to be able to make them a little bit more durable. So if there was ever going to be a moment that Valiant were going to turn these fights, it would be this one right here.
EMP on the front line, maybe get the Diva, or
There it
even
goes.
just kill Psycho like that without even needing an ult. And now it is do not get headshot challenge, please.
Almost impossible.
Almost impossible. There's a Venom Mine as well in front of Seeker. He can't run over that. Spot Psycho. Gets the ping. Hello. A solo
Smart,
EMP.
honestly.
Pretty nice. Removes one ultimate away from Excelsior. And now the Valiant can get this payload going. They're not going to C9. All good. And a manual hack onto Kellen. Okay, this is what we were after. Just the solar EMP is all good. Everybody behind the payload crouching, so Fitz doesn't kill him.
And they only had to use the EMP here, so for this consequential fight for the next one, they will have the ultimate still remaining. They have that sustainability. Lyre's popping the rally.
Yeah, so is Lep. Okay, so Psycho and Lep now receiving that overhealth, so it's going to be pretty hard to take down anybody on this point right now. Both teams just kind of soaking damage. But if Fitz picks one person here, all good. So self-destruct's going up in the sky. Who finds kills? It's going to be
Nos.
Kellen with one onto
Oh,
Nos, and
and they
no
didn't
one
touch.
touches from Valiant either. Oh, boy. Salt into the wounds there. The Valiant. They lost one, they lost the Tracer, but it was still winnable. You still had a chance.
Yeah.
But valid C9s in the chat there.
Yeah. Lep,
Okay, Lep calling people out.
individually, he's calling people out, saying, you know, there was things to be done. Croy making his excuses in chat. I was diva bombing. Everyone's throwing the blame onwards. So you're blaming your team.
Wait a second. I'm telling you, there's two wars happening right now.
Absolutely.
On two fronts. The match chat and then in-game.
Hey, you know, it happens. Everyone C9s every now and then. I don't know how Nos did fall to that diva bomb, but a comedy of errors from the Valiant and just unable to find any traction on that offense. Just the EMP was good, but other than that, it didn't really feel like the New York Excelsior were under any threat. And Fitz on the Widowmaker played the freest game he's ever played.
Oh yeah, super free. Okay, let's have a look how. Look at Nos. And goodbye. Oh, that's so rough. If you were on the front of the payload, maybe, and then, yeah, they're kind of expecting Nos, because Nos went for the retouch.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I've got OT again. Even if I die, like, oh man, like, it sucks, I got OT. You need your team to then obviously hop back on, but they were just like inches too far away. Seeker, I got 3 kills. I'm chilling. I've got my 3.
I got my 3.
I got my 3, team. The 3 kills on the team that they got.
Well, no, he didn't even get a final boy. He got 3 eliminations. So Seeker's just
It'll do.
spreading misinformation on the internet now. Is that allowed?
He's fighting the war on misinformation, on the side of misinformation.
Fitz is going to come out in the Widow, take a shot, but actually going to switch over to the Hanzo. And interestingly, Kellen comes out on the Sigma. So they're going to play a more slower, decisive style where they're just going to look for picks with the Hanzo, with the Tracer, and just slowly move up. For the Valiant, that's not too bad with the Diva setup, but Seeker is going to be the player who's going to need to find these picks once again for the Valiant.
Nice rock, Cullen. A little bit of AoE damage there. So like
CJ.
Oh man, yeah, that's not a good pick if you are Valiant. Losing your main source of healing to an arrow. Not great. Krawi also demeched. Oh dear. This might be over. They are going to be able to get another retouch here, but you're against a Sig and you're getting a fair amount of staggers. Like Nos goes down last here. That's a lot of free payload progress. Seeker actually switching over to Widow.
I like
You
this.
need this clutch factor right now, and it's a decent spot for the Widow to be.
The only issue is, on the other hand, when we were talking about how free Fitz was, he didn't have to go against the shield of Sigma, and you can see Kellen is just going to anchor at the front here, dropping the shield. And that should make it a lot easier for the Excelsior to stay alive, but this has to be done for the Valiant. Lyre does have the rally and pop it, but Croy's already dead.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the window on the corner. Psycho's already killed 2. Seeker needs an MVP level performance right now to try and carry this. Even a Dragon's on the bridge, repositioning CJ, and that'll be it. New York Excelsior with a 2-1 lead in the series. Rialto, again, not quite looking as close as that first map we had. It was 2-1. Thinking Valiant maybe punching back here just a little bit. They ended up changing their comp. They went to Diva, but still not quite finding the success that they want.
I will say, though, I've really liked the flexibility we've seen from this New York Excelsior squad. They've played some close matches against some better teams, and as much as they haven't been getting their wins, they're really starting to make a name for themselves of how high is the ceiling of this team. You know, especially when you have Fitz doing stuff like this and he's just finding important picks. He can play that Sombra, he can play the Widow, he can play the Hanzo. This New York Excelsior squad is just sneaky good as we start to move further through this season.
I mean, kind of the definition of a dark horse team, really. I mean, we'll see how well they do against other teams later on in the season, of course. It has to be a consistent thing to be a dark horse. You can't have a couple of good games and then kind of fail a little bit later on. Here's Skeleton self-destruct. Boom. And that'll be the little C9 there. We are going to Colosseo as our next map. Push game mode. We'll see how they want to tackle this one. Tough game mode push, especially this map, can be very much dominated after the first and second fight if you manage to take that high ground near the checkpoint. We'll have to wait and see how they end up going down, though. Valiant still have a chance to make this a map number 5, but Excelsior want to round this one out quick and clean. We'll see you after this.
down in the car. One time give it all. Bust it open hard. Let me see you drop. Get down in the car. One time give it all. Bust it open hard. Let me see you drop. Hustle, baby, we hustle. What the oh my.
Here we go, Colosseo our next and maybe final map for New York if they round this one out 3-1. Valiant didn't have too much success over the last 2 maps, not a point capped, in fact. Sphelix goes on control, but yeah, New York have just been a bit of a shutout team right now. They are just kind of rolling over Valiant. We're hoping, of course, Valiant can come back in this one. They found their first map win of the season, right? I mean, that's something to be happy about if you're a Valiant fan.
Also, if you look at the map set just here, Colosseo is up, but if they do manage to take this one, they go to Nepal, which is a map that you could say potentially favors the Los Angeles Valiant. They could play that Ramatra Rush, and the New York Excelsior might have to mirror in that circumstance. So if the Valiant can close out a win here on Colosseo, it could be a big thing for them to close out the entire series. But Colosseo is such an interesting map, right? Hit scans seem to be very prominent. We actually haven't seen this map so much since the season's begun.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like I've seen this at all. I have to check.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen a lot of Esperanza, but not a lot of Colosseo.
Yeah, I feel like we've not casted Colosseo yet. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, back to the game at hand. You can still play the Brawl, to be fair,
You can?
on this map. So I saw what kind of Valiant are posturing at right now. Don't think CJ's going to play Mercy, but this combo wouldn't be too bad.
One of the things that makes Colosseo unique compared to all the other push maps is how defensible the bridge is to control your own checkpoint. So if you can get that first checkpoint on Colosseo, you're at a massive advantage. So for me, if the Valiant can get off to an early lead and if they can get this first checkpoint, it could be enormous for them. We actually are going to see similar things to what we saw in the first map. Both teams are playing the Ramatra Brawl, which we have said potentially favors the Valiant as Nos is back. Unfortunately, so we're gonna. Wait, it looks like we're coming back. There
oh
we
no,
go.
we're all good.
We're
I was
back.
gonna cast just using audio.
It would have been. That would have been epic.
Dude, well, if you pretend, you can tell. Like, there's a lot of abilities. There's most abilities now, which I think I could be able to name if I hear the sound.
Yeah, and fortunately it was Colosseo, which is a map that has a very long first drawn-out fight. As you can see, Seeker and Fitz just sort of shooting back and forth, trying to find purchase, because you don't want to be the first team to aggress. The wall does go down, and Croy's popped that Nemesis form, but no value found.
Yeah, nothing just yet. Is Seeker or Fitz finding a railgun headshot or just a regular, like a log from Hanzo? Imagine that would be the first kill. Oh, Crowy ends up going down. So Creative, and there goes Seeker. Okay, so no logs from Fitz, but he was definitely a part of those kills, that's for sure, with the damage from Hanzo.
Up. The Nano Boost is so effective onto the Ramatra because when you pop that Nemesis form, you can do so much damage, but Nos going down is going to cause an even bigger snowball, and I talked about how important it was to be able to hold this bridge. The Valiant need to be careful and need to hold on because they have to dislodge the New York Excelsior sort of high ground that's being taken. It's Creative's dropping the amplification matrix.
This is nice. It gives him so much space, although with this Nano Boost, yeah, walks straight through the window. Oh yeah. There's no stopping that. No stopping that. That was nice play. I like that from Creative. You jump onto high ground, you buy so much space, and that was almost a free checkpoint. Crowy, though, holding it down for the team.
Just great presence of mind, recognizing if they just let the New York Excelsior sit there, shooting through that matrix, anything could happen. All it takes is a stray arrow through that one to hit anybody, and it will take them down. So the Valiant are starting to get some percentage points up as they're getting close to those ultimates, but New York Excelsior is already there. Psycho with this Blizzard can get a wall and drop that Blizzard on top of the Ramatra, but does miss the wall.
Decent Dragon splits Seeker off from the rest of the team. And there goes Psycho, going a bit sicko mode on him now with the Mei. Nice stuff. I mean, the Dragons, as much of it, it's not like a meme ability, but sometimes rather cosmetic. In choke points like this, it goes kind of hard. Like, you are splitting off key members and a lot of damage from people like Seeker, people like Nos, from really doing anything. So, I mean, you just saw there. Excelsior taking full advantage of that.
Yeah, when teams want to stay together, if you can split them, that's good. But look, Psycho was thinking about going early, decides against it, and now they're on the low ground, which could be difficult. And this is important. Croy can just stand up there holding this bot, but they've actually walled him off, and now it's moving.
Seeing with the Dragons, Psycho has to be careful. And it's going down to the blade of Nos, though. He finds one. He's just swinging away at the Ramatra. Okay, there's going to be a change. Look at Nos going so fast in the player cam too. Damn, he's...
I can't even see him moving. That's how fast he's
He really
going.
did hit the nitrous oxide. Majax.
Oh, I didn't see that one not go
Was that
down.
Majax?
It would make sense. I did hear it go off. I just assume it didn't find a lot of value because of how quickly Nos took up the opposition team. But that can be an important deal. We see both teams having the sound barrier, having the annihilation. It's going to come down to which well, I guess Valiant don't have a wall. If Psycho can get value with the wall and isolate Croy.
Well, Nemesis form and the Annihilation available for both tanks. There's one. There's going to be the next one. Nice sound barrier to keep Kellen up. Actually just takes down Seeker.
Smart
Quick as you like. I mean, there was no healing there for Seeker at all. And now Kellen just holds his hands up. And with Crowley trying to run to the backline, had to get back to the rest of the team because Kellen put a shield in between him. I mean, he couldn't get healed. Nice turnaround there for the Excelsior. Only using 3 ults, but you get beat out from Lyre. Pretty massive. And also Crowley not having an ult either.
Yeah, that's just a great play by Kellen, recognizing I don't need to pop the Annihilation at this point. So then when he pops it later, he has that advantage. As we see the New York Excelsior once again trying to push this bot under the bridge. But you can see Croy just contesting it from that high ground.
Oh,
CJ!
what a shot.
I don't like that off angle. You're just walking into the open and no one else can really support him. But you can see New York Excelsior don't really know where to go from here.
Okay. You can contest the bot by standing on the ledge. Okay, they're like, okay, we're going to Dragons it because it's kind of silly. Yeah, Crowley does end up falling over. That's a really nice play, actually. Recognizing that you can contest from the ledge, stopping the Romantra from getting away with murder there. And the checkpoint will get unlocked. 66 meters in the bank for Excelsior. They got a Blizzard coming up. No more Majaxes. Psycho. No more.
And important to note that Nos has switched over to the Mei. He did that last team fight, but we didn't bring it up. And that should make it easier for the Valiant to brawl head-on-head. We have complete mirror compositions at this point, which favors New York Excelsior because they're already at the advantage.
Psycho.
Oh,
there's the Mei. There's the Blizzards. Yeah, nothing Crowley can receive there. We'll keep him alive. I mean, CJ's in the back, but even if he uses control his crouch to get up over the wall, you're going to die really fast. And now they're on the home stretch, Scott.
Yeah, and Valiant still don't have any ultimates. Nos is coming up to his Blizzard, but Creative with this amplification matrix is so deadly. As soon as Corey tries to step up, he's going to drop that one, and that's just going to put out so much damage.
Shield already used from Crowley too. I mean, they just have to run into them, and run into them they do. As soon as that window comes up, well, Valiant know the game plan. They just speed boost forward with the Nemesis form, and they're all good. Well, there you go. Psycho dead. But 150 meters though, mate. Like, that is an unbelievable mountain to climb if you're the Valiant. You've got 3.5 minutes, sure, but still, that's many fights in a row.
And the difficulty with push is that now that the New York Excelsior have forward spawns, they're going to be able to take this fight in the arches before they lose that forward spawn again. So if they win that team fight, they're going to be able to have forward spawns again. So it's a snowball effect for the New York Excelsior. That's the advantage of getting that first checkpoint.
Seeker, what can you find with these headshots? I mean, New York as well, they don't really need to move too much either. Nice, Dragons just forcing a wall in that corner. Lamb forced to come out as once again a perfectly placed wall from Psycho. Kellen in the back line currently did receive the beat, but he split off the rest of his team by the Blizzard. Not ends up going down as the window is placed in front of the rest of the Valiant to try and get damage in, but another nice place walks from Psycho to stop that damage coming out. This guy's walls have been kind of spectacular, and yep, that is Crowley and Kellen just folding their arms, looking at each other, trying to settle the debate of who is the better Romantra right now.
Great Dragon.
Dragon Strike forcing the rest of Excelsior out of cover, but here comes a Blizzard, and it's Psychos, and that is one dead Romantra with Crowley dead. Forward spawn in the sights for Excelsior.
Yeah, the New York Excelsior just playing incredibly slowly and no one able to find any picks. And then New York Excelsior just utilizing their ultimates better. That Blizzard catching Croy just put him in such an awkward position. And Seeker's going to switch off of the Hanzo to the Sojin, a character he gets a lot of value from, but he has to go on a miracle run if they're going to turn this map around.
We're different creative. Third time's a charm.
Don't get run at.
Crowley doesn't run it. There he goes. Look at it. Boom, boom, boom. No, he had to back off this time. All right, now he's dead. Now you can use the window to his full effect. Ooh. Those arrows are going to be doing a little bit too much damage. Seeker in the back line, gets headshot, pinned to the wall in fact. Becomes an artifact of Colosseo. This is the final push with 130 meters, with 2 minutes to go. Valiant's final stand.
Yeah, New York
Crowd is
Excelsior
almost
getting
dead.
very close to closing this one out.
Dragon Strike on top of the team. There is a lamp to save them, but the Romantra are dead. Excelsior, they don't really need to do too much now, as this will be a 3-1. No way you get back in time. Nice little round out for this series. New York Excelsior find their first map win of the 2023 season.
Yeah, great match there from the New York Excelsior. Just honestly, the better team in this one. You can see they're a lot more comfortable playing different things, especially on that Winston composition as well. And the Valiant just not able to stand up to it.
Yeah, they did find one map though at the very start of the series. Controlling pretty decent. It was on the Ram and May comp.
Yeah.
But I mean, the next two maps, they weren't close really. Rialto and Hollywood. Valiant weren't able to even cap the first point. Tough spot they put themselves in. They're down 0-4 now, going into the later half of the season. Hopefully they can end up finding a win. That is on the card still. There's a lot of potential on the team, but it's when they actually manage to find it that's going to be the big question. But it's looking out for New York now.
Yeah, and honestly, this player right here, Psycho, for the New York Excelsior, he made his debut in the league earlier in his career, but had to go back to contenders. And when he got signed to this New York Excelsior roster, not many people knew what to expect from him, but his tracer has been mightily impressive so far, Jack.
Yeah, it's been really good. He's been picking up a lot of team kills, a lot of nice sticks. His May play in that very last map, that kind of saved them a lot of the time. They're walling off the heels. They're either walling off the heels, walling off windows. Like, it's quite extraordinary what he's able to do with just that single ability. And with Psycho being able to flex over to things like May and Tracer, it kind of reminds me of Backbone in a way. And it did a fair amount of match. This is just the stats for Tracer, but very low deaths, over 22 minutes too. You're looking at 8.8 final blows per 10, a lot of eliminations, big damage numbers. Psycho looking rather clean.
Yeah, and that's going to be important. This entire New York Excelsior squad really is just sort of stepping up where they need to. The big thing for them moving forward is we expected them to win this match, and they still dropped a map to the Valiant. So it wasn't flawless, it wasn't clean, and if they want to start moving up the table and people's expectations of them, they need to start beating some of these middle-of-the-pack teams and being competitive with the top.
Yeah, one step at a time. That's all you really need. They got their first win of the 2023 season. There you go. It's all up from here, surely. We're going to jump to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. The Desk are going to break down the series just after this.
Oh, welcome back. That one took a turn.
I didn't notice that. That was great. I applaud you guys for making that. That was great.
We did not make Overwatch pay to win. It doesn't give you walk-up on Zarya.
It does not, but you do look good once you fall down the cliff.
Right.
So you remember, they gave Torbjorn wall climb in 2018, right?
Sure.
Why can't we give Zarya wall climb?
Guys, Overwatch is not a pay to win.
Devs?
Please.
Well, we'll figure that out. But you can look good even without a wall climb. For just 300 league tokens, you can grab your own Zarya climbing skin, coming, of course, with the voice line and many other lovely things. It's a great look.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic look. Love the gun.
I like seeing it in game. I feel like I got like a better idea of what the skin is. Like.
Yeah.
I just love the details. The what do you call it? The powder on the hand?
Yeah, she got chalk.
Yeah, the chalk, yeah.
The
She's
powder.
chalked up. She's even got, I think she's got the tape, you know, like the kinesthetic tape.
Oh, yeah,
the injury stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, more Overwatch heroes should just have chalk. You just like chalk up Reinhardt for his hammer, you know, like I'm in.
Yeah, chalk up and then they riz around on the server.
No, Zoe, no, come on.
Okay, let's not try. Let's try.
I'm so sorry.
I'm still learning.
We got no
We're
riz.
still learning. No riz on the desk.
Yeah, no riz.
Sorry.
Please move on.
Speak for yourself, guys.
Okay, well,
The Zeke, though.
I really want to chat about this match.
Okay. All right.
So,
yeah.
let's discuss.
Yeah, New York
how
Excelsior
New York
versus.
got it done.
Yeah, versus LA Valiant. New York had a lot of riz. I mean, starting off the match, I mean, Valiant came out strong. I think they had signs of life. Honestly, I was watching. I was like secretly sort of hoping that Valiant might take the win, but then it really wasn't the case, right? It was after that match, it was just all New York Excelsior. They were looking good, whether it was Mastro Cup or even the Winston dive. They just had cleaner fights. They were just the better team compared to LA Valiant.
I mean, I think Control's a map type where it's really more about individual play, more about that DM who can win the 1v1s. And then when we get into the other map types, it's just a lot harder for teams relying on that to still get the win. It's more tactical. You got to know sort of what position you're going to start in, where you're falling back to. Things have to be more coordinated and rehearsed. And it is typical, I think, for some of these newer teams to struggle in that environment with these Overwatch League veterans on the New York Excelsior.
Yeah, I mean, when we got to the very long maps, so like Hollywood, for example, or Rialto, like you have a hit scan like far away, like Fitz, that's just pumping out the damage. You need some level of coordination if you are the Valiant to synchronize with your Sombra, your Tracer, your Winston to dive in properly. And the Valiant just didn't have the answer. I mean, Jake, you commented.
Dude, I gotta call out that comp.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Why are
He
they
was
on
mad.
VAP against Genji with Genji Hanzo? Like, I don't get it, actually.
Do you think that was just a comfort pick for them?
Maybe,
Because,
but like, this is the Overwatch League. Like, you can't just play one comfort hero. Your comp has to like actually fit together and make sense if you want any hope of winning at a high level, you know?
Yeah, I think it's clear that Valiant are not comfortable diving playing Winston.
Yeah.
And Brawi, notoriously an off-tank player, he'd rather be on the likes of Ramatra, for example. So Fitz just had a field day, really, in my mind, playing the Hanzo and Ashe and stuff like that.
And this is the comp that New York looked the best on yesterday. Their match against Defiant, they won 2 maps against Defiant, who was another decent rush team. So I feel like going to the rush mirror, yes, it might be comfort for Valiant, but so is it for New York.
Yeah, now you just mentioned Fitz as he was going absolute bonkers on his Hansa on the map, and we do have an interview with him. So Danny, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Zoe. And of course, we have Fitz on the line with me for the post-match interview. Hello, Fitz. Fitz 선수 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
All right, I have to ask you about, first of all, congratulations on getting the win, and also congratulations on getting your first win of the season. So I just want to ask you, how'd you guys get it done? How were you guys able to get your first win of the season? 자, 오늘 승리를 축하드리면서 오늘 승리가 좀 더 뜻깊지 않나 싶습니다. 아무래도 처음 승리를 거두신 거기 때문에 오늘 승리 좀 어떻게 이루시게 되셨나요?
이때까지 저희가 아쉽게 진 판도 많았고 이때까지 준비가 아쉬웠던 거를 다 최대한 고친 다음에 해서 잘 이뤄낸 것 같습니다.
I think we were able to get this win against LA Valiant mainly because, up until now we had a couple of close fights, couple of close matches, and definitely there were some mistakes to be fixed. So we really focused on fixing those mistakes in our previous matches, and I think that really showed up in our victory against LA Valiant. I also want to follow up on that Fitz, on you as a personal player. Like, I feel like you were with the Seoul Dynasty for a very long time throughout the Overwatch League. Many of the seasons, and now you found a new home. You're with the New York Excelsior. So how does it feel to be on a new team? 자, 다음 질문은 좀 더 개인적인 질문인 것 같아요. 피치 선수가 이제 오버워치 리그에 합류를 하신 후부터 계속 쭉 서울 다이너스티 팀에 계시다가 이제 처음으로 이적을 하시게 되셨는데요. 어떻게 보면 새로운 팀원들과 좀 이제 새로운 환경에서 이제 경기를 치르시는 거에 대해서 좀 어떠신가요?
이때까지 서울에만 있다가 이제 다른 팀에도 이제 처음으로 이제 해외 팀에 와봤는데 이제 한국말만 쓰다가 이제 영어도 같이 쓰게 되고 정말 색다른 경험으로 나쁘지 않게 즐기고 있습니다.
I'm actually having a lot of fun, because like you said, I was on the Seoul Dynasty for a very long time, ever since I joined the Overwatch League. It's my first time being outside Korea in a foreign country. Now, when I was with Seoul, I was mainly always just using Korean, but now I'm using sort of English and Korean as well. So I'm actually having a lot of fun. I also want to quickly I want to quickly ask you more on that, because now you have to ask or talk in both English and Korean. Do you feel like it's a little bit more difficult for you? 자, 방금 얘기한 거에 조금 더 제가 더 보태자면은 방금 말씀하셨다시피 이제 한국말만 쓰는 게 아니라 지금 이제 영어, 한국어를 둘 다 쓰셔야 되기 때문에 그거에 대한 좀 이제 힘든 점이나 좀 그런 건 없으신가요?
아무래도 한국어로 말하면은 디테일한 면까지 다 말할 수 있지만 영어로는 아직까지는 힘들어가지고 디테일한 면을 말할 수 있는 능력까지만 키울 수 있다면은 영어도 그렇게 어렵지 않을 것 같습니다.
It's definitely a little bit more difficult because if I was just mainly speaking in Korean, I could talk a lot in more detail in game aspects. But because my English isn't at that level, sure, there is a little bit more difficult. It is more difficult, but once I get more practice, I think I would become better. All right, Fitz, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for the interview. And good luck in your next matches. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치도록 하겠습니다. 피치 선수, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, Danny, that's not intrusive whatsoever. Like, well, that made everyone uncomfortable. We absolutely love that. Yeah, thank you so much, Fitz. Always great to hear from an absolute OG. As he said, he's been with the league ever since the inaugural season, but always on the Seoul Dynasty. And if we're looking at the New York squad, I mean, they are as international as you got. We have an Austrian, not Australian. We have a Dane. We got 3 from America and 3 Koreans. Is that correct?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. So that is a very much mixed roster, which of course can lead to comms issue for some teams. But so far, they've been looking nice and they've been looking good and finally get their first W on the board. So more of that. We can't wait to see that. And I do want to have everyone's attention now. That's right. Because I want to make you all aware of.
Nice!
It's look at this Zeke on that guy. Did I use that right?
Yeah, the Zeke.
The Zeke.
The Zeke game is strong.
Guys, I'm not teaching you any more Zoomer words.
Okay, listen, I'm just trying to communicate with you on your level. I'm making an effort. So a little respect for your elder here. Thank you.
Jake, we're gonna hit shoulders today. So Jake and I promised to go to the gym today, and after looking at Doomfist Zeke.
If that's not motivational, then I don't know what
it is. It is true. It is goals. It is goals. Although I don't expect to get to that level, but you know what?
Maybe not here. Yeah, maybe not in real life, but in game, you too.
My Doom is going hard. I'm pretty sick on the Doom, I will say.
There you heard it.
Pretty elite.
And for just 350 league tokens, you too can have one of those lovely team bundles. Now let's take a look at the schedule because we got an absolute banger coming our way, or so we hope. Washington Justice and the Boston Uprising.
Oh, you jinxed it.
You jinxed it? Or did I jinxed it? Well, we've already jinxed it during the pre-show then, because we did talk about this match already a little bit. So let's run it back and take one more look at the rosters coming into this one. Of course, Alpha Yi has been an absolute standout. We also, of course, talked about Ben Best and Mirror sharing the tank duties and the different looks that the Washington Justice were able to bring us based on that. Now, if we're looking at the other side, of course, all-star roster, big names across the board. But can they match? Is it too many chefs in the kitchen? Are we having too many leaders, not enough followers? We'll find out very soon. Of course, we do want to highlight a few individuals here, and one of those things have to be the Tracer players for both of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be probably the standout matchup between both of these teams. On the one hand, you have Alpha Yi, who so far this season has been sort of crowned as like the star player of the Washington Justice that can like really turn the tide with huge Tracer plays, getting 3Ks, 4Ks. But Decay, he's had some performances himself. Now, if we take a look at the stats, Alpha E is looking pretty crisp. You can see in the hero damage and the final blows for 10 minutes, Alpha E has the lead. But Decay, he prefers to stay back. He prefers to be a bit more on the safer side. You can see that he has lower deaths, 2.5 per 10 minutes. And that's sort of like the style we've seen from Decay so far. He likes playing it safely, harass the enemy tank, play for space, rather than Alpha E's playstyle of going towards the back line and finding picks with pulse bomb, stuff like that, right? So it's going to be a Tracer clash, but it's going to be a bit of a clash of two different Tracer styles. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, guys, when I play Tracer, I like to mix and match both styles. So I do less damage like Decay, and I die more like Alpha E. That's kind of...
Love that.
That's my style.
Nice.
There's just so much to look forward to in this particular match. Now, I have to say, doing predictions for this one, this was hard, all right? Because if you're looking at the star caliber players of the Boston Uprising, you feel like a fool to bet against them because we know that they can pop off. DK can have those DK moments, right? But you can say the same about Birdring and literally every other player on that roster. But then on the other side, Washington, they've looked good. But is that just because they had weaker opponents thus far? Maybe, probably. So if we're looking at the predictions, I got baited, I feel, because I went with the Washington Justice.
What?
Recency bias. I don't know. Like, something was in the water this morning, and I initially wanted to go for Boston Uprising, but I thought, like, you know what? Washington Justice. I think they're riding a higher. They're coming up with a really good mentor, and they've been showing us a lot of different looks, which I think is just so important in the current meta because everything is just so map dependent. So depending on a map pool, which I of course didn't check before my prediction, they could have the upper hand. In hindsight, should have done that.
I mean, I respect that. I mean, I had a tough time deciding who to pick as well, but I actually went with the other route. I went with Boston Uprising. Sure, like, you know, they seem to be struggling even with like 2 wins, but I just not only star players, but also I think the meta favors Boston Uprising players a little bit more. So I went with Boston Uprising.
I had a bit of a tough time here, and maybe I'll regret it, but like Zoe, I chose to follow my heart and not my brain, and so I went with the Washington Justice. I will say...
Right, that's good news. Good news. As long as I'm not with Jake.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because I think the Justice, they've been looking drilled, they've been looking very clean. I think the strongest players on this team probably are the DPS, but that's a good place to have your strength in this meta. Ben Best coming back into the league looks pretty respectable on the Winston, certainly able to hang in there. The support line, I kind of was questioning them, uncertain how well they do, but so far against relatively weaker opponents, they've been all right. You know, I could see this going either way, frankly. Like, I'm not shocked to see Boston take it. They might be the favorites on paper, but I choose to believe.
Well, I showed